we're going to talk about consistency, which I felt was probably the ideal subject matter for today, considering the fact of the matter is that I'm still being consistent with my content creation. I'm still being consistent. Every single day I've broadcast live, doing a day's confused and generally buggered, making sure that I answer your questions, give you daily content, 7 days a week across multiple channels, just by being consistent. And today it would have been very easy for me to go, you know what, I'm working, I can't do it. Sorry. But instead, I used social media as a platform to help me find out what time worked best for you as an audience across all my different social media platforms. And it came out that the evening broadcast was a better one than doing something earlier in the day. So I gave you two options, something at 9 o'clock, which would have had to be finished, done and dusted by 9:30, or something at 7 o'clock, so that we could just go on for as long as we need to go on for. So absolutely. We're here at 7 o'clock. We're going to go for all your questions and all that kind of stuff. Ed commenting there, your consistency is uncanny. Thanks for all these streams. They're super helpful. I'm glad you're enjoying them. And hello to Usman as well, who's saying, awesome. Thank you, Usman. Yeah, I need to practice what I preach, don't I, Ed? I need to, if I'm going to preach the fact I believe you should be consistent on social media and putting stuff out all the time and giving value all the time, I sure as hell better be doing it myself. Because there's a lot of these people who are creating courses, putting stuff out for people to consume and saying, you should go on this course that I'm selling and it's really cheap at 1,500 quid and you'll get 4 great videos that'll teach you how to do X, Y, and Z and A. But I won't be doing X, Y, or A. But I might do a bit of Z now and again. Maybe, perhaps, if you watch me closely. So I'm a big believer I need to practice what I preach. So absolutely trying to stick to consistency. But why is consistency so important? Consistency is massive because it helps build a bit of familiarity between you and your audience. What do I mean by that? Well, the fact of the matter is basically, as humans, we like to have things in a time schedule. It doesn't mean that necessarily that we stick to a schedule, but we like to know things are going to be there for us to watch, to read, to consume at specific times. So, for example, obviously we live in an age now where we can record stuff very easily digitally off the television, or rewind, or fast forward for adverts, or whatever. We can like series link TV shows and all that kind of stuff. But we still need those TV shows to actually be there in the first place. And if they weren't consistently put out, or those radio shows weren't consistently put out, or that content that we want to consume wasn't consistently put out, and even more so potentially to a schedule, then you would be in a situation where somebody would come to find the content that you would normally promise to put out at a certain time, and it wouldn't be there, and they would go, well, where the hell is it? I wanted Coronation Street at 7:30 on Wednesday. Why is it not there? This isn't good enough. And then it happens again on the next broadcast. And then it happens again on the next broadcast. And again on the next broadcast. And then they get to the stage where, well, I can't trust you. What's the point? I can't trust that you're ever going to be there when I want you to be there. I'm just not going to bother consuming your content anymore. Be it Coronation Street or you as a brand and as a business. So if you're going to be putting content out, I'm not saying you have to put things out to the exact minute, because that's just impossible. You can't do that. But if you set like an hour's window, a 2-hour window, when you're going to be putting content out on a specific day, be sure as hell to try and stick to that schedule, because that means then those people can definitely know that your content's going to be there at those particular times, making life a whole lot more easy for them to actually find your content and get value on a regular basis. So, for example, when you're creating vlogs on YouTube, or when I used to create vlogs on YouTube, I used to put my content out at the same time every single day, and I had it scheduled there so that people could get that value, could enjoy my vlogs, consume them at the same time every single day. They were scheduled to go out on clockwork at 6 p.m. every single night. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily what you need to be doing, but you need to look across your whole spectrum of social media and think about not only the consistency, so how often you're putting stuff out, which we'll come to in a second, but also that schedule, giving people that an appointment to view, an appointment to listen, an appointment to watch. whatever it might be, whether it be YouTube, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on Snapchat, TikTok, putting articles out on LinkedIn, that appointment to read potentially. You need to give people the opportunity to put it into their calendar and know that your content is going to be there for them to consume. Because if it's not, they will go and find somebody else who is doing it round their schedule and putting it out at the same time every single week or every single day or every single month or whenever it is. Now, that's not to say on Instagram you have to stick to that kind of thing, but it just helps. But when it comes to video content, it really is a huge significance if you can stick to the same timings all the time. That consistency really embeds into people, and they appreciate you being consistent with the timings that you're putting stuff out at. But why is it so important to people? That consistency, it just means that you're putting content and value out all the time, and they're not going to forget about you, because there's nothing worse than putting a piece of content out, somebody absolutely loves it, and then you don't put any content out for ages. And then the algorithms, when you put out a new piece of content, go, well, you've not put any content out for a while. Okay, you've got people actually really enjoy that last piece. We'll push you out to a small audience and see what happens. And then because they've not seen you for such a long time, putting content out, you probably maybe won't land in their sub feed at the right time, or they just maybe won't see your content. And so the algorithm just goes, well, if nobody's watching it from the small audience that we pushed it out to, and those people really enjoyed the last piece of content, it must be shit. So we're just not going to bother putting it out. But if you're consistent, the algorithm looks at you in a different way and pushes you out to the same amount of audience all the time. And if you're doing it at the same time, those people know you're going to be there at that time. So then they start to consume your content at that time, or they know you're going to be there at 7 o'clock. So that way they know at 8 o'clock when they get in, they can still consume your content because it's already been live at 7 o'clock. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Putting that consistency in there, be it the consistency of time or the consistency of creating regular content all the time, putting stuff out there all the time, is what will make you a successful brand on social media. And it's the same for everything. Coronation Street didn't just put out one episode of Coronation Street and then 3 months later put another episode out. It went, we're Coronation Street and we're going to rule this. We're going to be a soap opera and we're going to put out one episode a week. And then they upped it to 2 episodes a week, and then 3, and then every single day, Monday to Friday. But they didn't do that by going, oh, well, we're going to create one and then just see how it does and maybe do another one in a few months' time. We'll see. We're not sure. Because they understood even back then, and this is a seriously old soap opera in the UK if you've never heard of it, they even knew back then that you had to be consistent to make something work. It wasn't automatically going to be an award-winning soap opera straight away. It took time, hard graft, great scripts, obviously, but consistency, being consistent with the content to make sure that it actually happened and made it work. So, yeah, exactly like Ed says, 100%. It's like if I was trying to teach someone how to ride a bike without being able to ride a bike, you just can't do it. Yes, exactly. You just got to be able to be consistent with your content. And if you can be consistent and give that value, then you're going to be onto a winner. So hopefully you've got some value out of that. The understanding that you guys need to be consistent with your content. You cannot just put out a piece of content now and again. Hello to Ricky, who's just joined us on Instagram. You can't just put out a piece of content now and again on social media. You can't just put out one thing on Facebook and expect it to go viral. It could, but it probably won't. I'm going to tell you that right now. Potential of it going viral, absolutely, but it probably won't. Just the same as I could put a post out on Instagram a little bit later, and it probably won't go viral. But my audience will appreciate it and get value from it. But they'll only get to see it because I'm being consistent with how often I'm putting stuff out. I'm putting stuff out all the time on all my different channels, on my TikTok, on my Snapchat, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my YouTube, on my LinkedIn, on my Twitter, even on Twitch. Every single day, these live broadcasts are going out. Not really pushing it all that hard on Twitch, to be honest, because it is a gaming platform. But 1 or 2 people have dribbled in and enjoyed the content and asked questions and stuff. So, hell, why not do that today anyway? Because, yeah, it's there as a platform to be used.